Hello and welcome back to Book Nook. Today's review is special in two ways. One, we're reviewing a non-fiction book for the first time. And secondly,
we've managed to contact the author and get her perspective on some things that we'll be talking about. The book we're reviewing today is Don't Forget 2004 by Jayshree Sundar. Jayshree has led some of India's leading advertising agencies throughout her career and is currently teaching marketing courses at business schools across India.
I had the pleasure of working with Jayshree during my stint at Lintes. Her book is about that time in India when India was shining and the Congress party was not. No one gave them a snowball's chance in hell of winning a general election, given that they'd been out of power for nearly 10 years. The organization rank and file was in complete disarray, and the coffers were far from full.
Tough situation.
Tough, sir.
Yeah. At the same time, the North India arm of Leo Burnett, a multinational advertising agency headed then by Jayshree Sundar, was looking for a break that could change its fortune. A call one winter evening from the Congress party to Leo Burnett sets off a chain of events captured in this book.
Yes, and the Leo Burnett guys actually thought it was a prank call. But after some hectic pitching, which is so pithily described by Jayshree, Leo Burnett is awarded the business. And from here, the narrative takes off to describe the events behind the Congress party's improbable and some would say impossible win.
The book is really behind the scenes look at what goes on in an advertising agency during the creation of a confidential, time sensitive and a key campaign. The diligent digging for data, the creation of the brief, the creative response, the interminable arguments, the sleepless nights and the coordination between different arms of the agency.
The book is an advertising case study of how the combination of the right data, the right strategy and hard-hitting creatives can touch people and change the way they both feel and act. While the book is really an advertising case study, it is not really written in the classical case study format.
Absolutely. It's more like a fast-paced thriller, starting from the time when the pitch was to be readied only within 1 week, the winning of the account itself, and a front row seat to the inner workings of an ad agency. The madness, the all-night working, the team camaraderie.
Yeah, very, very different actually from what most people think, advertising is, because most of them think it's like Fleetwood Mac's song, Life in the Fast Lane.
Okay, so there is Yatsen on his element and his musical worst. Jayshree very swiftly leads us into the world of advertising, gives us a few quick lessons on branding and marketing, and shows us that while political figures are perceived as distant hierarchical lot, they most certainly do have a humane side we know little about.
Absolutely, and not to mention the unending supply of samosas, coffee and tea.
Yes.
However, despite it being a book centered around advertising campaign, it's not just a book for marketing and communication professionals.
I agree.
It's a book for those who are interested in the scripting of Indian political history and those who want to understand the real levers of socio-political change.
Yes. Let's hear it from the author herself, Jayshree, why it took her 18 years to narrate the incidents of 2004 today in 2022.
Batao, Jayshree, batao.
Yes, this is a question everybody is asking. Why has it come so many years later? And I said, better late than never, simple proverb. But the thing to note is that unlike a normal product, which is like a toothpaste or things that we consume or a soft drink or, those are products that you say it's summer and it's hot and you're drinking various things to quench your thirst. It's almost a daily consumption. But a general election comes every 5 years. So actually in this ensuing period, we've just had 3 general elections. So it's not in terms of, in chronology, it is many years later. The other reason there are 2 or 3 reasons. One is that I have been teaching this as a case study to my MBA students ever since 2004. And every time I have taken this story, this case study, there is pin drop silence. So many years later, students are so much younger. The interest in politics is very high. This case study, this class of mine is a super hit each time. So I said this, if it is still engaging young people, that too in Zoom in pandemic, I was taking a class late in the night, 9:30, and they spent half an hour schedule. And I told the students, I'm really sorry, I've taken up your time. They said, ma'am, had you talked for 1 more hour, we would have listened. I said, it's really resonating, and India is a young country. This story needs to be told. And last but not the least, it would be a disservice to by me and my team if we kept perhaps one of India's biggest case studies, which has impacted the world of branding, political branding in particular, advertising, marketing, history, politics. It's too important a story to go buried deep, into the recesses of a few people's memories. So I said, I must tell the story.
So Jayshree, one of the things that stood out for me is that unlike most books on management and advertising, Don't Forget 2004 reads like a punchy whodunit. Was it part of a plan, or was it just, your natural writing style?
There were 2 or 3 ways in which I could have taken this book. So if I just wanted it to be a bookish book, which is like a traditional case study, then it would have had headlines, sub-headlines, bullet points, pie charts, bar diagrams, and things like that. And I just didn't want it to be some boring, book which probably nobody would have read. I said I had to replicate exactly what we went through, which was so exciting as it unfolded. But give out all the emotions, the tension, the anxiety, the low budget, the fear of dealing with people you've only seen on TV, and cracking a good strategy. And so I wanted it to be conversational. The thing is, I actually took a leaf from the way I've written the case study for my MBA students. It's written like a story. Because, you go into a classroom of people who are average age 25, 26 and say, okay, today I'm going to take a political case study. And I thought most of them would slouch in their chair and be like, oh, ma'am is going to kill us today. So I said, I have to make it like a story that they're also living on edge with me as it's going. So the whole deck is written in conversation. Every line there is in inverted commas. Who said what to whom? Who said what to whom? And how it moved. So I took a leaf from there because I know every time I've delivered this is a huge success. And I replicated that into the writing style.
Jayshree, as an advertising professional, there's always the pressure to prove to the world that advertising works. Is there an element of trying to prove the power of communication through this book?
And of course, yes, I wanted to tell this case study. I wasn't writing it with like a agenda that, I have to fly the flag of the advertising industry and I have to show that advertising works. There are plenty of case studies that show advertising works, but this one probably it's got everything. It's got a fantastic strategy, a low budget, something where people had not given you a chance in hell. Every pollster got it wrong. Every exit poll was wrong. Till the night before, there was such glowing results coming for the other party. But, that morning everyone was left gaping, both sides, not just everyone. So it's a stunning case study and it had to be told.
In an increasingly digital world, how different do you think your approach would have been if handed a similar mandate for, let's say, let me controversially put you in it, the 2024 elections?
Oh, 100%. Because everything is the same except the media mix. Right. So the tools have changed. Social media is a big piece. I'm just thinking if we had social media in 2004, what so much more excitement could have been added. For example, Aam Aadmi ko kya mila? We could have gone to town with it, from creating reels and from creating memes and from creating little, live streams on it and shareability and clickability, all that. But the basic tenets of strategy, which is your awareness, differentiation, relevance, and really getting the heart of the consumer, getting to the heart of the consumer. Because what happens? How is a political brand different from a normal brand? In a normal brand, there's repeat purchase. So, if I'm a lover of, say, iPhone, and they're doing a good job and they keep advertising, I can repeat purchase. Or maybe take an example of, a soap. I like a particular soap, I keep buying it. So in consumer world, you have this 80-20 rule where, 20% of heavy users give you 80% of your revenue because they keep consuming you and you keep targeting those guys. The difference in an election is there's no heavy, medium, light user. Everyone's equal. You and I, our vote is equal. You're not giving more money, I'm not giving less money. And the whole thing is on that election day, you have to nudge people to go out to vote. That's the day they have to take action. So one piece of data we found was that urban India goes to vote much less than rural India. Urban India is very fond of chattering and discussions and armchair managers and whatnot. But rural India people go to vote. Now, instead of 50-60% going to vote, how do you push more people to go out to vote? So it's that one day you have, all this work is for that one day when the voter has to go out to vote. So this was a very big difference, and this doesn't change. Okay, so the same thing applies, and nobody will do anything for you unless they're emotionally moved. And that piece, whatever you do, you have to get that message right. Then you put it on television, print, radio, social media. That's your media dispensation. But really, somebody had asked me, do you think this would work today? I said, point to think, but Aam Aadmi ko kya mila? Very, very strong, potent line, and I don't know, maybe it could.
Wow, a woman leader and her team pulled off an incredible victory against all odds. Above everything else, it's a story of hope and positivity. A story about plowing through all of life's hurdles and keeping up the good work even when the goal seems an impossible feat.
Radhi, my rating for this book is going to be 4 stars.
My rating is a definite 4 stars.
Our combined rating, therefore, stands at 4 stars. And if you're enjoying our videos, please like and subscribe to our channel now.
Next, we bring you the review of David Grossman's More Than I Love My Life, released in 2021 in a fortnight.
Meanwhile, look out for Radhi's 2-minute review of First Person Singular by Haruki Murakami on Book Nook Shorts next Saturday.
Take care and stay safe. Bye.
See you next week at Book Nook Shorts. Bye-bye.